So you were a Midwestern student and a member of the Fusion program. Why don't you tell us about your experience there?
Don't do fusion. Definitely don't do fusion. So they would say that fusion is a program basically to help you live a life of Christian faithfulness and to help you mature into biblical manhood or biblical womanhood if you're a woman. There are a lot of restrictions in fusion. You can't have a job, so you have to have you basically have to have support raised or take out student loans to do the program.
So let's hang out on this for a second. They want you to go to this seminary that's not cheap, and they want you to be a part of this program, which teaches you to grow as a Christian. They require you to not provide for yourself. Am I getting that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So they either want you to beg for money from other people, or they want you to go into debt to do their seminary program, which teaches you to be a better Christian. Is that correct?
Yes, I went into
Yikes. Yikes. Enormous yikes. That's so gross. I hate that. Wow. So what happens if you do have a job? They just don't allow you into the program?
Oh yeah, you just wouldn't be able to do the program.
What are some other restrictions that they put on students who they're supposed to be teaching to be good pastors and grow as men and women of Christ?
Yeah, basically. So I mentioned the kind of roles within Fusion, the advocate being the kind of head. So basically, you just do whatever your advocate does and says. So you're kind of just like under them. They direct your lives. They're like the person who's over you. So even often you have to say, oh, hey, can I go do X? Can I go do Y? And yeah, you can't date. You can't be in a relationship while you're doing the program so that you can focus on the task at hand, what you're doing. And I would say it gets to the point of, in my mind, it's like, oh, so you can focus on what really matters the most. Missions. I really think that's the kind of end that Fusion pushes. And it's also not very directly in relation to a local church. So how Fusion is set up is like, oh, I'm on a team. So the church that I go to is chosen for me by where my advocate goes. So I have to go to church where my advocate goes.
You have to.
Yeah. So you have to do your entire Fusion life as one unit, basically. Your team is your team, okay. Your team is your people.
So if you have a faithful church that you are committed to, if you want to be a part of Fusion, which is a program that's supposed to make you a better Christian, they want to rip you out of your church that you're committed to. And they want you to go to some other church for just a year yes. so that you can be a better Christian. Yikes!
Yes.
Golly.
Region.
Interesting.
Doing stuff.
Okay, so another. I'm really kind of focused on the ground school thing for a second. So the primary purpose you said of the ground school was to teach you or to like put you through something challenging so that you know what suffering for Christ feels like, or to make you like more committed to your religion. Is that right?
Sure. I would say, I mean, the kind of overarching questions are like, is Jesus worth it, or is getting the gospel to the nations worth it?
Okay, so I have a follow-up question. Do you know how Midwestern responded to COVID?
I mean, I know they didn't have classes for a while.
So they shut their
I know they
down.
required masks for a while.
Yeah, they required masks. They followed the illegal mask mandates.
Hardcore pushed the vaccine.
They hardcore pushed the vaccine. So do you think this push for suffering for Christ, to like be willing to suffer for Christ and do hard things for Christ, do you think they are consistent with that through the rest of their behavior as a seminary?
Well,
especially during COVID?
They didn't send any teams overseas that year. So
they whoa, oh my gosh, hang on. So they didn't think sharing the gospel was important during 2020? Was it too difficult to send people? Was it too challenging, even though everybody went through this ground school, to take people and share the gospel during COVID? Why would they do that?
one could certainly beg the question.